what have you been up to in the last couple of days, just sort of vaguely?
Just hanging out with flatmates mainly, and we went out a couple of nights. Well, every night. But yeah, no, it's been good. Just kind of a chill couple of days, really.
Okay, what's a recent good time thing that happened? Is that?
Well, last night was really good. We just it was just me and my course mates, and we were playing board games and stuff, and that was really fun. Then we went out and just kind of danced, and it was very carefree, which was good.
Okay, where are you drinking? Which pub?
We just went to the Union. We weren't drinking that much though. Last night it was a bit of a night off for me.
Okay, I suppose it's kind of nice and stuff like that, just pool and drinking stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, the first year is always about finding that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've found it yet, but I'm sure term's gonna calm down, and freshers week is always crazy, and then after that there's Gaudi nights and that kind of thing. I had my Gaudi night last week, so it was insane. I mean, I don't remember most of it, but no, it was good, and my parents are really nice, so yeah, they dressed me up as Santa. Don't know why.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And then we just went to the Union, standard kind of night, but I was super drunk because they kept feeding me shots constantly. It was crazy.
Did you grow up in Dundee, or?
No, I come from a little island off the coast of Scotland. Do you know where Skye is?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Uist?
Not quite.
No, it's just beyond Skye.
Ah.
So, yeah. I grew up there and then moved down here for uni.
So was it a big adjustment coming from such a small island? I mean, I know that Dundee's not exactly the largest place in the world, but
yeah, it was a lot, but I think it was more exciting than it was challenging, because I got to meet loads of new people, and I've made loads of friends, and I'm pretty much seeing them all the time, every night and stuff, so I haven't really had time to sit down and think about whether it's been a massive change, because I've just been doing stuff constantly.
Do you guys have downtime and things that you do and stuff?
I mean, not really. I cook with my flatmates and stuff, so yeah, that's kind of downtime, but usually I spend the days just trying to study and stuff like that, and trying to get some sleep as well. So yeah, I'm not really doing much in the daytime with other people.
Okay, fair enough. What time do you sort of wake up usually?
Oh, you don't want to know.
you alright?
Yeah, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Just got some trying to finish an essay, What about you?
Yeah, just trying to get some stuff done before the madness begins again. Have you been out much?
Not really. Went out on Tuesday and was recovering from it for quite a while.
Oh.
Not joking, I nearly broke a finger.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
Did you just fall over or something?
Yeah. Straight onto concrete.
Ooh, nasty.
No milk.
Wow.
So, you been out much?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. I went out last night. I'm going out tonight again, so.
Really?
Yeah.
2 nights in a row. When do you find time to sleep?
Sometimes between everything else. It's been a bit insane lately, honestly, but I think it'll quiet down after a while.
Yeah. It's always the way with these things.
Hi, I'm Katrin. I'm going into 3rd year English. I'm into drama and music and stuff. So, Lauren is a restless creative, I think that's what we called her, and that's taken the form in more recent years of music and writing her own music, which we drew very much off of me, and I think that was one of the first things that me and Julian talked about, was how we could incorporate my music and songwriting into this character. So that was something we led with, and kind of the rest of it kind of came from there. She's also quite a sociable person, but sometimes she doesn't really know how to manage that. So Lauren comes from the same island as me. She comes from Uist, but her family and everything are very different, which was really fun to write, like all her family history and everything like that. So her dad was brought up on the island and he's a fisherman, and she gets on really well with him. Her mum is a musician, like a retired musician, I guess. She studied music in university and then met her dad and went to Uist. So yeah.
It's like coming anywhere for the first time. It all seems bigger. It all seems sort of alien fog in the distance. Trying to make a sense of it, trying to create a mental map of everything. I know the Tesco is, so I'll keep that in mind. What do I think of Dundee? Seems like an interesting place. People seem friendly. I don't know if that's unique to Dundee. Maybe it's just outside London everyone's not an arsehole. Although that can't be true. So far I'm liking it. It seems like a decent place. It's interesting to go back to study because I haven't done it in a while, so it feels different. It feels difficult to compare the two experiences because I'm different. I was more like a kid back then. Now I'm just kind of in between, just wandering around. It's miraculous that I'm here again. It's bizarre. This is the chance to have a new foundation, so it's not really I'm studying so much as laying the brickwork for something new, something more solid, something that's mine. My name is Vachel. I'm 26. I am acting in Julian's film because I'm interested in seeing how the process works. I've only acted twice before, so the whole thing is all interesting to me. I'm from London. I was born somewhere else. I pretend to be from a lot of other places because I'm ambiguous. My history. I'm from London. I grew up there. Lived there for about 20. How old am I? Jesus Christ, 20 years. Lived in London for 20 years. Moved around a lot. Lived in a lot of places. But generally East London. Was born in Pakistan. It's a classic rising up story. Grew up a little poor, then moved up to the class system very slowly, and now I'm here being an artist. God, it's such a wet dream for like the bourgeoisie. But yeah, that's my history, to put it succinctly. No, technically I'm studying English and Maths. I'm failing first year. I shouldn't be failing first year. But we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow results come out, so we'll see if I actually really do fucking up 26 and resync first year. Next question. These are painful questions. The Fringe play. So I wrote a play for the Fringe called In Defense of Hitler. The motivation for this was because when we were doing the sketch show for Lit in the first semester, I wanted to put in a Hitler joke, a single Hitler joke, but then they wouldn't take it out, so I reacted, well fine, I'll write a play full of nothing but Hitler jokes. And here I am. It's just a nice, fun play about love. That's all it is. I wrote a romantic comedy, okay? I'm so ashamed of myself. My family is... If I describe my family, I would say they were like a fairly normal bunch, a fairly conservative bunch. Keep to themselves, like to keep things simple, easy to understand, easy to predict. Don't really go out of the way at all. They don't have a way. They have a place and they stay in that place. They don't move anywhere. And that's pretty much their MO. I would say they're boring, ignorant, incompetent. I can't really say much more without just ranting.
I turned vegetarian in high school, we watched one of those programs, I think it was one of the PETA ones, in something like Kentucky Fried Cruelty, and it was just, you know, when you've got all the chicks in the conveyor belt, and like, you know, I remember someone in the class being like, oh, it's like they're on a ride, and it was like so callous and disgusting. You know, the character I'm playing is called Eli, and they're based, you know, maybe a tiny bit on myself, but more focus on it's two people in particular that I know, and they get to high school and they start off, you know, they're quite confident, quite outspoken, happy, and then they get horribly bullied, as unfortunately happens a lot in high school, you know, sort of 11, 12 years old. That goes on for a while until they become this sort of much more withdrawn, quieter person who, you know, who decided to realise that they are quite conscious of their own image, and they're always, you know, especially going to university, which can be a time to reinvent yourself, then that's something that they decide that they're quite determined to do. You know, they want to, you know, join all sorts of societies, like, you know, they sign up for everything in Freshers Week. They almost sort of fake it till they make it. They push themselves into these social situations until they become genuinely adept at them. You know, they go to LGBT, feminist society, they start getting sort of into a lot of activist views, everything to do with equality, animal rights. Once they come to university, they decide to go vegan rather than just vegetarian. So they sort of also have to learn to cook correctly. So they sort of grow into this much more, you know, through pushing themselves, they become this much more confident, outgoing, very active sort of person who's also quite high status, socially adept, able to sort of, even if it's not conscious, they do sort of attract attention in the room. They're able to sort of guide conversations. You know, they like to inspire people, and they don't always necessarily notice if they're sort of as an offshoot of that, perhaps manipulating people.
Hi, my name is Eve. I'm 21. I am studying Master of Arts History, about to go into my 4th year, my honours year. I spend a lot of my time acting. I'm big into my acting. I'm obviously a part of, you know, Lit Theatre Society, so I've been in lots of productions, you know, as part of that. At the moment I live with my dad and my little hamster, Roxy, so I spend a lot of my time rehearsing for the Fringe at the moment. That's really all I'm doing. I just got a job, so now I work in an office, answering phones. It's really exciting. I have, you know, a boyfriend, his name's Luke, he's great. You know, I like to watch films and TV shows, and I like to read, and I like to sit in the sun as much as I can. Hi, I'm Charlotte. I am 21. I study creative writing and English at university. I'm about to go into my 4th year, my honours year, so that's kind of a big deal.
So how was your night then?
Well, I don't know, you know I don't like clubbing much, so it was fine, I guess.
How come you went out then and stuff? Did you really enjoy it?
I don't know. It was like, you know, everyone was going, so I thought that, you know, I didn't want to miss anyone. So what I'm doing at the moment is just a bit of my hobbies. You know, I horse ride, I'm big into riding, so I go up to the stables and we go trekking. I have my own horse, her name's Arrow, so we spend a lot of time with her. She, you know, she desires that sort of social control, where she wants to be in charge of the people that she's around. She wants to influence them, and, you know, she finds that the best way to do that is by becoming like them almost, and, you know, figuring out what they're after and what they want. And if she can be that for them, then she'll never be without people, because she went through a hard time in high school. She was bullied quite badly, and her parents split up, and although it was like a fairly amicable split, it was difficult for her because she'd always had that to rely on. I like to take walks, you know, try and take some almost like relaxation a wee bit, because it's not that, you know, I don't like being around people as much as it's sort of tiring sometimes, and a lot of the time it's hard to put my finger on why that is. I mean, I don't really, you know, being around a lot of people is tiring, and I have a lot of different groups of friends that have, you know, different interests, so
Yeah, it's my parents' flat, sort of. They own it. I stay here and basically just stop it from falling into disrepair. And there's a spare room, so I let that out to lodgers or whoever, and use that to pay the bills. You know, semester's over, so I've just been kicking about the flat. I mean, there are still parties to go to and stuff to do, but not as much.
So how was last semester?
Last semester was terrible. I mean, it was good, I enjoyed it, but I did not do well in those exams. So it actually looks like I'm gonna fail my course. And then my parents are gonna cut me off and I'm gonna be homeless. It's all very dramatic.
So what course were you on? Just fill me in.
Studying law.
Ah.
It's fucking terrible thing to do with your life.
How's this year of university compared to previous years, do you think?
My immediate instinct is to say that it's worse, but it's not that it's worse, it's just that I've enjoyed it less. I guess when I first came and I was doing law, you know, I didn't know I hated it yet. But just this last year, second semester especially, I don't have the time for it. Well, I mean I do. I mean I've got that physical hours for it, but I don't have. If you were like to me, would you like to spend 10 minutes doing law and get a first class degree and make millions of money, or would you like to just try and swim across the Tay in December? I probably opt for the Tay. I have with the lodgers and the fact that I don't pay rent and SAS and my parents, I just have so much money coming in that I'm never going to spend. So, well, I might as well throw parties, you know. So some of them are just general piss-ups, like last night. But sometimes we do some interesting things. Once I bought a load of champagne and we all wore suits. Kind of a Great Gatsby type thing. It's nice to do something interesting. You know, there's only so many times you can get smashed in the same flat before you're just getting smashed in a flat. So I like to mix it up a little bit. Sometimes it's like we just invent an absurd drinking game. And sometimes it's like a costume party. Sometimes we just watch films.
Man.
Yeah.
Was this room this tidy when I went to bed?
No, I cheated it up when you were asleep.
Oh, thanks, man.
Are you alright?
You know when you start drinking and you think, this is good, this is fine. Then it gets to the end of the night and you're like, it's cool, don't worry about it. Then you wake up and it feels like you're being kicked in the head by a horse.
Yeah, no, I have fond memories of times like that.
Yep. Oh God.
Can I get you something?
Yeah, if you've got any Nurofen or anything, please.
I'll go have a look. No promises.
Fair enough. I supposed to do with this?
It's what we've got. It's supposed to be soothing.
Okay. So how was your night?
Good. Still going.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't sleep very well yesterday either.
Oh. A night spent sleeping is a wasted night. So I'm a waster. That's how I like to think of myself. I'm a former student of maths and physics at Dundee University, and I dropped out this year. I play video games, read books, listen to music. I do what everyone does. That doesn't really count. Don't know what people like. I like art. Like, I've recently got really into art. I think I'm going to turn into one of those people that goes to art galleries and looks at it and thinks they get it. I mean, of course you don't get it. It's art. It's gibberish. But I'm going to think I get it, and that's alright. I did lots of theatre work with a theatre company associated with the Dundee University Students Association. I have to find a job. Don't really know what you're looking for. Oh yes, okay. So this is my theory that Napoleon, when he invaded Russia and lost 1 million men or whatever it is, I think that's closer to 100,000, but he marched a great number of men to their deaths because he tried to invade Russia in the winter, and basically all the Russians had to do was not be there, and the Frenchmen would die in the cold. They salted the earth around Moscow, this, that, and the next thing. But at the time, immediately before then, Napoleon had already conquered Spain, and he just defeated the Prussians and the Austrians. So with the exception of the British, the Russians were the last power in mainland Europe who could oppose him. So it was a risky move to go charge straight into Moscow, and one that probably cost him his empire in the long run, but it was the correct decision to make, because if he hadn't, he would have looked weak. The Russians basically would have just taunted him, and the Austrians and the Prussians would have recouped their strength with Russian support and then kicked the French out. Whereas if he marches to Moscow, captures the Tsar, makes him swear an oath of fealty, he's done it. He's won. He's conquered all of Europe in a way that no one had since the Romans. Even better than the Romans, because the Romans had things like provincial governors and stuff to cause unrest, whereas he had about the most absolute monarchy that ever existed. I think if he'd known how it was going to turn out, he probably would have just burned Prussia and Austria to the ground, rather than leave them there for Russia to come get. And he wouldn't have gone after them. But I think it was the right choice in terms of what to do when conquering the world. He who dares wins.
I did my degree in IT at Dundee University, so a bit basic programming, sort of is what I focused on. But mostly I was kind of at uni to hang out, to have the experiences and kind of do the whole uni away from home thing, which I really enjoyed. Although after a while I realised that the whole clubbing scene was really for me. So, but yeah, the IT stuff was fine. I got a decent enough mark in it by the end, but it wasn't what I was really focused on at uni, if that makes sense. It sounds like I just kind of dossed around for 4 years, and I mean, you wouldn't be too far off if you were to say that, but mostly IT's fine. It's something I can do. Well, right now I'm kind of living on on my Todd. In terms of my living arrangement, got a kind of flat, 1-bedroom flat that I mean, friends come over and stay quite a lot, but mostly I'm just on my own. Got my computer there, got my DVDs, got my Xbox. That's kind of all I need. And I work down at the game store, just trading in games, selling games, sorting games, you know. So, like, I spend probably an inordinate amount of time around computer games, if I'm honest. I'm Gabriel. I'm a Gemini. I've done very little acting in my life, mostly involving 48-hour film competitions. But I'm also mostly, in terms of my actual interests, I'm more of a writer. But I do enjoy acting because it's kind of a interesting challenge.
Okay, so what have we got so far?
For the flatmates?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All girls. Most of these girls come from Edinburgh. They had already met before she got there. Tall, long dark hair, nondescript.
Okay, yep, good start.
Well, for Heather,
Mm-hmm.
said that she is particularly concerned about appearance and the worst cook. Okay.
Okay, so Erin, the tidiest and most controlling.
Yep.
See, if she was just tidy, you would have just said the tidiest. Most controlling. There's a story behind that, isn't there?
When we first moved in together, we had a system where we would cook every night. So like, we'd have a rota and like 2 people would cook, and then the rest of us would do the dishes. So like, there would never be any dishes left over at the end of the night. And that was a great system. But then like, as the weeks went on, it started getting like more and more muddled, and like people would cook for themselves, and that was fine. And then like there'd be a couple of dishes like left over here and there. So like you'd leave something on the counter at night, and then come back through in the morning, and it would be gone, and you'd find it in your cupboard, but like still dirty. So we all started like picking up on this because like it had happened to like most of us, and like we were talking about it, and we were like, what's going on here? And then someone mentioned it in front of Erin, and she got like super quiet and defensive, and like just like stormed off basically. So like, yeah, we figured out that it was just her being like super passive aggressive.
Okay, open the box. What's inside?
Tiny mouse.
Okay, alright. What colour is the mouse?
Purple.
The mouse tells you something. What does it tell you?
You're great.
That's awesome. Okay, put it on to the side. Next thing.
Spoon.
It's a spoon? Okay, alright. What is it? There's a liquid inside the spoon that's like cupping and stuff. It's holding up. What is it?
Jelly.
Okay.
Strawberry
Strawberry jelly. Okay, cool. When you wobble it, what noise does it make?
jelly.
Wait, wobble it again. I'll be your jelly noise. One more time. Softer. Okay, standing up.
Okay, Kaylee is lovely. Yeah, we actually get on really well. One of the first days that I got there, I was kind of freaking out because like all the girls, most of them had already met each other because they all come from Edinburgh. Apart from me, who comes from back beyond. And yeah, so I was getting nervous because it seemed like they were all like friends already, and they were all chatting and everything. And I was trying to join in, but I was like unsure. And then I went into Kaylee's room, and she had a guitar, and I was like, oh, we have that in common. That's something we can actually talk about. So that was really nice. And yeah, we jammed for a bit. I remember we got in drunk one night, and all our other flatmates were like, right, I'm off to bed. And then we like made them stay in the hallway and listen to this song that we were learning. It was brilliant. And they were all just like, okay, that's nice.
I think Charlotte has like a big circle of friends.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like thinking of like names and stuff.
Well, we can do that. We can do the names, and we can go into detail on top of that. And sometimes we can just pick one person and draw from the specific person we know. Just bear in mind, we want like the more detail we have, the better. So it's not necessarily what we want to flesh out, but what are things we can talk about. Because remember, it's collaborative as well, so.
I don't know, it's hard to think when I'm not. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to think when I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Stuart. We'll have Stuart.
Alright, tell me about him.
Okay, so he studies economics, I've decided.
Okay.
And she knows him through halls. They live together in first year.
Okay.
And at first, like, she didn't, I don't know, like maybe she didn't register him that much. 'Cause she was like, oh, this guy's a bit weird. But maybe, I don't know, they got to talking one night and realised that they actually had quite a lot in common. And he's the one that maybe got her interested in, like, you know, RPGing and other kind of gaming and stuff. And then she met, like, her other sort of gaming friends through him.
Bad memory. It doesn't amount to a singular moment. It's more, there were a couple of months where things were very tense in the house between my brother and my sisters. Or me, really, that was the problem. Just every time I walked into a room, it got tense. And it got awkward and weird, and it was always my fault. It just came to a point where I knew I wasn't welcome in my own home, in my own family. Good memory. Spending the day by myself, walking around the city. I was wearing a suit, walked around. People thought I was someone else. I fit in, I belonged. That was a good memory. Just a day walking around, smoking cigarettes, having a drink, going to museums.
So writing, I think, is the only thing I'm really good at. I think it's the only thing that makes me happy. And if I never pursued it, I'd hate myself for never going for it. And it's a way to communicate.
Built up this character of Lewis as this very easygoing stoner guy who works in game and plays a lot of computer games and just generally kind of floats along on life, but it's probably a bit aimless and all a bit sort of lacking in ambition. But I actually find him quite. The more I play him, the more I enjoy playing him, because he's very relaxing to play as. He's quite different from me in a lot of ways, and it's very interesting to kind of wear that for a while and be that person and sort of use that to reflect on myself. So, I mean, if nothing else, this is working as a fantastic form of therapy for me. But yeah, I think that's Lewis. Well, I mean, when I was younger, I used to be like a proper wee skater kid, except I didn't have a skateboard. I liked all that new metal stuff, Korn, Slipknot, that kind of thing. I think I even had a Papa Roach CD. But I haven't listened to that stuff very much recently. Mostly these days I'm into like doom metal and stuff, like kind of Electric Wizard and Sleep and that kind of groovy stoner stuff. Caius, they're cool. Span Baroness, they're really good too. Yeah, there's kind of stoner rock, doom metal, that kind of thing. Also, like just heavy metal. Like I've always liked Iron Maiden. Still listen to them a lot. I played at the school talent show once.
Oh right, okay, cool. We had a shitty cover band and stuff, you know, but like.
Oh, you want to talk about a shitty cover band? Jesus, man, you should have checked out my band back at the time. We
I bet mine was shittier. Are we gonna?
I bet mine.
Okay, come on.
Let's do this. Okay. What was your band's name?
Fishing for Tail.
That's worse than Scouting for Girls. Iron Reefer. We thought we were hot shit, man. We wrote a bunch of like shitty heavy metal songs about getting stoned behind the car park or something. It was really stupid. It was so high school.
How would you come up with a name like this?
We just thought Iron Maiden were really cool and we liked reefers.
What are the two things alike?
We weren't very complicated teenagers, you know. Yeah, I remember one of our songs was called Crushed by the Green Wave. And lyrically, what was the sort of...
It was
Were
basically...
you drawing from, you know...
Really strong weed is like a tsunami. That's it. That's
over and
that's
over
all you
again,
need
like-
to know about the lyrics. Yeah. Oh, we were terrible. Roger! Lodger! Lodger!
You haven't done the dishes. It's your turn to do the dishes.
Alright. You're okay?
I'm fine. Better than I've ever been. I'd say.
Okay. You sure you're alright? You look a bit unsteady over there.
No, I am fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I am perfectly steady. See?
Alright.
What are we doing tonight?
I don't think we have anything planned for tonight, really. Like, I was gonna try and get an essay done, but...
This is disastrous news. This is disastrous news.
Okay. What do you want to do tonight?
I think it's very clear that I think we should be drinking and partying. Maybe some dancing, some funky shakes.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Please stop doing that.
Yeah, I know
with
lots
your
of
body.
people have told me not to. And we're out of tonic, which is unacceptable.
Did you have some of my
We're out of Quattro 2, which is also a problem. And we've only got a little bit of gin left.
Okay. You may want to go quite slowly with that.
No, I think I'm doing fine.
Okay.
Well, I'll see you later.
Yeah. See you later.
Well, my name's Julie. I'm on the same master's course as you, Julian, and that's the reason I think that we're just doing this little interview, because I'm also short of time because we have a show coming up. I'm working in finger knitting, so I'm sort of going a little bit crazy with that at the moment. Although this is Dundee, I live in Perth. I've been coming through every day, and my interest is in art that people can get involved in. Okay, well, my character's name is Daisy. She is probably of similar age to me, because that makes sense in terms of me playing her. She actually had a bit of a mixed upbringing. She was the daughter of a couple that were very much into the hippie movement. Maybe mum was a little bit flighty, dad disappeared off doing his own thing, so she was really dragged up rather than brought up. She managed to escape from her life and go off to university. She studied languages, she did a lot of travelling, she's been in Italy, France, Greece, all the things I might like to have done if I'd have had that sort of life. She's very good at languages, but I think because of her background she ended up with quite a stable job afterwards. She worked in an office basically, where she met her husband. They didn't get married straight away, but when the child came along, she had a daughter, and when that child came along, they did get married. I think it was a happy marriage up to a point, but then things started to go wrong, and I think basically it's because they both wanted to go off travelling, but now of course there was a daughter involved and they couldn't, so her husband ended up leaving her, but he left her after they'd made a massive move from London up to Perth. So she didn't really have the support network. She was a single parent, she was struggling for money, Because of the language skills, she could earn money as a freelance translator, but it did mean that I suppose there wouldn't have been a reliability of income. She did love her daughter. She tried to protect her daughter, but obviously at some point you have to let your daughter go. And I think this is the point that we've reached now, where a daughter is wanting to go. Perhaps a daughter is showing signs of making mistakes that Daisy made, or perhaps Daisy's being overprotective. But whatever, I can't help but feel that there's some problems on the horizon between her and her daughter.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she's called Katie. She lives down in Bradford. She's currently finishing up a PhD in pharmacology. We met during our undergrad years. It's kind of, we hung around the same kind of groups of friends. We listened to same kind of music, so it's it kind of made a lot of sense. Really looking forward to her coming back up to Scotland, actually, because we make long distance work. We Skype a lot, and I travel down and she travels up, so it all works all right. But it'd be nicer if we could just see each other a lot more often than that.
In terms of relationships, I think it's a complicated thing. It's quite difficult to pin down. No, I wouldn't. I don't have a boyfriend as such. Because what really defines that sort of relationship? He is just really different to the other people that I ride with, and he's different to the other people that I've ridden with in the past. And at the stables, he's funny, he makes me laugh. He doesn't, he's not elitist like a lot of the others, and I don't know, we ride a lot together. Yeah, we take the horses out.
How long did you go for?
And trek. Oh, full days, really.
How long were you guys together for and stuff?
Oh, we're not together.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, no. No, we just, we hang out, we have fun.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. It's only, okay. Okay.
When I was in primary school, probably like primary 3 or 4, a bunch of us started climbing over the wall into the neighbour's garden of the school, because there were no snails on our side of the wall, but there were like a whole bunch of snails on the other side of the wall. So we were all like clambering over because we wanted to keep these snails as pets. It was such a strange fad. Anyway, so that our teachers were alright with us keeping these snails in the classroom, we told them that they were from the school garden. But eventually, after like a month, the neighbour saw us climbing over the garden, and we got in so much shit for it. Brilliant. It wasn't brilliant, it was kind of awful, but it was all of us. We were all in the same boat, so it's fine. So yeah, that's what I drew from, really. That's an early memory that reminds me of.
Whoa. Oh, I'm fine, look. Woo.
Mate, I really wouldn't do that. You've had quite a bit of gin.
Let me tell you about how important it is to get drunk. So, let me take you back a few thousand years. The Chinese, they've been doing civilization, they've been doing it really well for a long time. There's a couple of folk in Rome and Greece and stuff, they're having democratic experiments and stuff. But really, they're just fucking around compared to what the Chinese got going on. But then, something happens. Or other.
Just give me 1 second. There's something that I need to properly get into this conversation.
See? Now you get it. My God, that was a lot of gin. So, something happens, or to be more to the point, something doesn't happen. The Chinese don't drink wine. And because they don't drink wine, they don't develop a wine trade. And because they don't have a wine trade, they don't mass produce wine bottles. Because wine is a lovely colour, it's nice to look at, so we develop glass bottles to sell wine, so you can see it. You can like, oh, that's a nice colour. I want some of that. So then we develop more advanced glass making techniques. And then the Renaissance is kicking about and stuff. People have got microscopes, they've got telescopes. The Chinese don't have microscopes or telescopes because they don't have glass, because they don't have wine. And Europe overtakes them, and Europeans dominate the globe. And that is why it is essential to civilization to get smashed.
They still have rice wine though. Like, they still fermented rice.
Yeah, but rice wine isn't colourful.
True. They also didn't have grapes. They also invented gunpowder. Like, you don't need to be getting drunk to do that.
What I'm saying to you is that if we didn't drink wine...
Wait, also, the Enlightenment was because people changed over from drinking wine and beer because they couldn't drink water to drinking coffee instead. So they changed from a depressant to a stimulant. So really, your entire thing is undone by the fact that the Dark Ages exist. Okay. My character is known as the Improv Monkey because essentially Julian asked me to help out with the filming of the majority of the scenes. Essentially, the entire point of my being on set was to record sound, occasionally help out with recording visuals, and to allow me to create an improvisation tree with each of the individual characters. For the conversation that I created with William's character, Andrew, in which we were arguing about whether a cat belongs to myself or William's character. This went on during rehearsals for about 25 minutes and was essentially cut by Julian for absolutely no reason down to 7 minutes. Mostly because Julian is an incredibly terrible director. Who has absolutely no control over any of the actors in his employ, or any of the crew members.
Guess who's not getting
Yeah,
credit
fuck
now?
you, Julian.
I've been playing a lot of Civilization, so I started up playing that again actually, because I haven't played it for years. I got Civ, I got a sort of backwards compatible Civ 4, but really looking forward to the new Star Trek series though. It's coming out next January. I just saw tickets for Meshuggah went on sale.
Tickets for what, sorry?
The Meshuggah are touring. Band, you know the band Meshuggah?
No, sorry.
It's like the Swedish progressive metal band. They kind of invented something called Gent. You heard of that?
No, sorry, no.
How do you describe that? I don't know. So yeah, not much. I mean, I just use Skyrim just to unwind because I'm used to it. So I'm not been playing that much new stuff or watching that much new stuff really.
It's a stressful time just now and things.
No worries.
Like,
I'm sure you'll be fine.
no, that's really nice of you, thanks.
I like that Cubist Cafe one you did. That was fun.
Oh, pretty. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was good.
Oh my god, someone saw that!
Yeah, I know.
We could stick Dundee.
Yeah, actually. It's.
I mean, it looks like I'm going to be here for another year. Things like I think I need to finish the film that I've been kind of developing with this project and stuff anyway. And I'm just like, because this will be the start of my 6th year in Dundee and things. And I know you've been here for a while and things like that anyway. I mean, I know like doing this film thing will be like really great and stuff anyway. I mean, that's really what I want to do. And in some ways, like I have to be here to do it anyway because with all the actors that I'm doing with and stuff, it's like, you know, it's we've done too much work to not sort of finish it. If that makes sense. This is really what I want to do. So anywhere in the world, basically. As much as I'm like, oh, I want to travel, I want to see somewhere interesting. But if anywhere in the world, like it's like here is and now is where I really want to be. But it's also like, oh, the same place. As much as I like to be, but it's like.
That's good, man. You got stuff going on. You know, you got projects in mind.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about it? Something? Because how long have you been doing it for then?
Geez, too long, man. About 9 years. But yeah, I'm kind of looking for jobs outside Dundee, actually, to be honest, because I do feel like we could use a change of scene. And my girlfriend's finishing her course soon, and she's kind of wanting to move back up. She prefers it up here, so we're thinking of going to like looking for jobs in like Glasgow, Edinburgh.
I'm so sorry. Hang on. My brain is just.
Oh no, man, it's okay. It's cool. You had a rough night. It's you don't need to. You know, I'm not trying to quiz you here. It's okay.
You shouldn't be going out on the stage so close to my fucking deadline.
Oh no.
But the thing, I'm so irresponsible. Like.
Oh no, man, it's cool. Everyone's got to unwind at some point. You know, it's just about finding the balance. You know, if you felt you needed a night out, it might be better for it long term. You know. But I mean, the best thing is just to break the thing down into wee tasks and make sure you can really got the time to do them all. And anything outside of that, it's kind of yours to do. You know, it's not something to tear your hair out over. You know.
Yeah.
Quite like the view out here, actually.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's peaceful. It's across the river and stuff.
A lot of things worry me. I worry I'll never get over the past. I worry that I'll have no real future. I worry that I'll never really appreciate the present and always be wandering between these two imaginary places. I worry I'll just keep on drifting, that I'll never really find a place to settle and stay. I worry that all the arseholes of my life in the past were right. I worry that this is all for nothing. I worry that life is worthless, that I'm worthless, that kind of stuff. I worry that perhaps I'm setting myself up for failure when I expect too much of myself, of others, of things in general. These are my worries.
It's me. Yeah, no, you said you wanted me to call. Yeah, no, I did that. Thanks for the, yeah. Cool. Bye. Okay.
Sounded like a fun conversation.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It's my mother.
Sorry, man.
It's okay.
You still up for a bit of drinking?
Yeah. 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 Go on, I'll get my my wallet somewhere. There we go. You got it. Oh, I don't need to corner.
Tell me those sweet little lies again, darling. Oh, tell me those sweet little lies. I'll lie to you about faith and a virtue. I'll lie to you using my eyes. You'll lie to me about beauty and promise that I will forever be cool. The worst thing of all is the lies, they all stick to me, and I don't want to be clear. You will tell me that I am beautiful, but my mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. And I will wonder when I'm older, how did we make it your kingdom, your country and queen lie in the courtrooms that you'll never see. Look back in anguish as I cross the street and lie till you lie next to me. What of my innocence, what of my pride, what of my human android? Who are you hiding when you have to hide what you create and destroy? And when you finally do deny me, you'll smile when I look in the mirror and see a frown. I will stand tall and try not to fall, because what I know now, I've known it all along. So lie to your kingdom, your country and queen lie in the courtrooms that you've never seen. Look back in anguish as I cross the street and lie till you lie next to me. Do what you have to keep me asleep. I'll sow the seeds and those seeds you will reap. And when it is over, you'll lie in your sleep. You'll lie till you lie next to me. Lie next to me. Lie till you're next to me. Tell me that I'm asleep. Tell me that I will never wake up. Lie till you're next to me. Tell me that I'm asleep. Tell me I've come to the end of my life. Lie till you're next to me. Tell me that I'm asleep. Tell me that I will never wake up. Lie till you're next to me. Tell me that I'm asleep. Tell me I've come to the end of my luck. Lie till you're next to me. Tell me that I'm asleep. Tell me that I will never wake up. Lie till you're next to me. Tell me that I'm asleep. Tell me I've come to the end. So lie to your kingdom, your country and queen lie in the courtrooms that you've never seen. Look back in anguish as I cross the street and lie till you lie next to me. Do what you have to keep me asleep. I'll sow the seeds and those seeds you will reap. And when it is over, you'll lie in your sleep. You'll lie till you lie next to me. Lie next to me.